Hello, and good Monday to you. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Monika Planikhos, and I am the Good Therapist Mentor. And today, in today's live, I'm going to be speaking with you about the 4 sneaky ways of practitioner incapacitation. So what does incapacitation mean? Incapacitation is, and obviously we'll get into this a little bit more, but when your practice, so whether you're a therapist or a coach or mentor, a hypnotherapist like myself, when you cannot effectively do your job properly, when, and not just your job, but you know that you are affected in some sort of way that then has a ripple effect on the people around you, on your clients, on your service, and on yourself, on your general sense of self and general sense of well-being. And so today we'll be covering those 4 sneaky ways, and they are sneaky because sometimes they just sneak up on us. They sneak up on us and we don't know that it's happening sometimes, and sometimes we do. But the 4 sneaky ways that, you know, a practitioner can, be incapacitated in some way. And so the question becomes for you as you hear me say that, have you ever asked, felt or asked yourself, like, how did I get here? How did I get to this point? Right? How did I get to this point? Why aren't things turning out the way that I want to, or that I've been promised? Or, maybe you're reflecting and you're like, oh my goodness, like it's been 10 years since I started this, why at a higher level, or, why haven't I gotten, that goal that I wanted to get? So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about those sneaky ways where incapacitation occurs, and it can be across many dimensions. And so if that is you, please listen up because we'll be going through all of those 4 sneaky ways. And so I'll be explaining those 4 ways. Those 4 ways is how you can actually trip up as a practitioner, and how that can actually affect you, your practice, the people around you, and everything else. And please say hi if you're watching. That'd be great to say hi to you. So the 4 ways that we can get tripped up as a practitioner is the psychological level. So in terms of the way our thinking, right? And our processing, our cognitive processing too. We can get tripped up at a physical level in terms of we get sick. Our body tells us, hey, you're not doing that today. You're going to stay in bed. We can also get tripped up in the environmental sense, in terms of those environmental factors where we don't necessarily have anything kind of, stopping us physically or psychologically, but there could be those demands from the environment that say, hey, this is, you're not doing that today. And then there's that spiritual level as well. So a spiritual level, is not necessarily religious in any way, but it really is about our purpose and our meaning to what we do, and also our life. And we can get tripped up at that spiritual level as well, where we feel lost in that area, which has massive ripples in terms of our enjoyment, and also our and also the what we actually put out there, to our clients, to our families, to the greater community, to the greater world. And I've said this many times that many people in this group, and who are called and chosen, and who feel like their role, like their job and their career is more of a calling rather than a like to. They feel called to do this kind of work, and I certainly feel called to do this kind of work. One of my missions, well, my main mission, in fact, is to alleviate suffering. That's my biggest, overarching mission and goal, is to alleviate suffering in those people who have experienced trauma, who are going through grief. I specialise in anxiety relief, and that covers a lot too. Yeah, that covers people who are experiencing panic and things like that. But also it's anxiety through growth too. So as a practitioner, as a mentor, as a hypnotherapist and counsellor myself, I've gone through that journey too of feeling unsure, feeling anxious, and I can say suffering through that growth journey as well. It's been a good journey, but there's also been elements of suffering. And so when that spiritual level is affected, you can begin to question why you're here and why you're doing this. And you can also begin to question, what am I doing this for? Wouldn't it just be better if I just get a job? Yeah, I get a weekly wage, I get my holidays, I get no stress, and wouldn't that just be better for everyone? Because I'm suffering through the process of trying to build a practice. So there are the 4 levels: the psychological, physical, and environmental, and spiritual level. Hey Edgar, thank you so much for watching. Pretty good info, thank you, appreciate that. So I guess the question is that as a practitioner yourself, where do you yourself hit the biggest roadblocks? Is it the psychological level? Like, are you your worst enemy in terms of the things that you say to yourself? Are you a pessimist? Where you're constantly like, this is not going to work, and I've tried this, and this person won't change, and everything. Like, are you, is that where you struggle the most? Or is it the physical level? Lately, for me, it's been the physical level. Injury. I've had a 𝐓𝐴 injury, and the thing is that when you are injured or are affected in some sort of way, it's very sneaky. It's very, very sneaky, because you don't realise how it's affecting you. So when I injured myself, my lasagna making injury, I was changing my band-aid and I just started bleeding everywhere, and I was just like holding my finger and holding it so I wouldn't bleed everywhere. And I go, guys, help. Like, I was looking around and going, help please. Like, what do I do here? Right? It wasn't like maybe 2 weeks ago that I did my first aid course. I know what to do. But in that moment, I didn't know what to do. I was incapacitated by the situation. I was affected physically, and in that moment of the scramble of oh my goodness, I'm bleeding everything, I did not know what to do, and I had to ask for help. I'm like, guys, what do I do? Like, I'm bleeding, but I don't want to, and my husband goes, well, put pressure on it. Put pressure on it to stop the bleeding. That's a good idea, right? I couldn't think of that myself in that time. But I had, the training too, and I had, outside the situation, I've got the knowledge and the understanding. And so us as therapists and practitioners, sometimes we can identify these kind of, problems and issues for our clients and be really, really good at that resolution for them. However, when it comes to ourselves, we're incapacitated and we can't actually do it for ourselves. And so that's really, really the conversation today, is that where do you find yourself most incapacitated? Is it at the psychological level? Is it at the physical level? Is it at the spiritual level, the environmental level? So yeah, the past couple of years, I've really been noticing that physical repercussions in my body. So, and that tends to be how I experience stress, is at that physical level. They're the signs, because I can honestly say, hand on heart, I don't have the insight, the insight the cognition to actually go, hey, hang on a second, you know, I'm doing this and this, and maybe it's a bit too much for now. Maybe I should slow down, or, you know, maybe I should seek help in this area, or you know, whatever. I'll just keep going. I'll just keep going. Who else does that? Do you do that too? You just keep going until you kind of break? So this past couple of years, I've really noticed it. And even though I've had a lot of success, and this is what's really confusing, when you achieve a lot of success in one area, and that's really what you want. So I've, you know, over the past couple of years, and definitely in the last year, I've experienced a lot of growth business-wise and in my practice, and you know, also in my learning and my understanding, to be able to get you know, results quicker and easier with clients. There's been a lot more flow. But on the other side of that, you know, through all that success, there's been other stuff that's been really hard to deal with. Yeah, there's been physical stuff that I've been going through: migraines, eye pain, joint pain, like hip pain and stuff that, you know, I haven't that had come up once in a while, you know, but that wasn't a consistent thing. So it wasn't a I have to worry about this now thing. Yeah. But that it definitely impacts on my sense of self, on my sense of vitality, on my capacity to provide, on my capacity to care, on my energy levels. Yeah. So I hope this is kind of resonating with some people, because it's something that I've noticed that has been, you know, problematic, and that does affect the way that I do things. But at the same time, it's been very confusing, because on one area you're getting what you want, yeah, and you're seeing that success, and you're seeing you know, joy and everything like that. But on the other area, there's some other element of suffering, and you can be tempted to go, oh well, I'll just push that aside. That's okay, yeah. I'll just suffer a little bit more in this area because this area is doing so well. Okay, so we won't worry about that, yeah. And so yeah, so you can there's these sneaky ways, these 4 sneaky ways that can produce that incapacitation, and really bring down the overall quality of your life, but also your practice too. So in terms of the environmental level, the environmental level can be those external, you know, the extraneous factors, those external things that I'm not going to say that you don't have any control and influence over. It's more so that those external factors are kind of like coming into your world, yeah. Those external factors such as, you know, perhaps family, yeah, or people that you love. You know, maybe you've got a brother or a sister or a mum or dad or a kid or something that's gone off the rails in some way, and that's affecting you because you feel responsible, or you have to do something because you can't let your loved ones or your family, you can't let them down. But at the same time, that energy that you put in, or the attempt or the wanting to help, either doesn't help or is a drain to you. So I remember when I was, you know, working, so I was, you know, after I went back after maternity leave, I was working full time, I was studying full time and building a business at the same time. I look back now and I go, that was just crazy. That was just crazy doing that. And I was thinking I was doing it all for me. But it was really, really hard to have all of those things happening all at the same time. And then those general life things like that you have to deal with too, that everyone deals with. Yeah, you've got to pay your mortgage, you've got to pay your car, you've got to pay insurance, you've got to pay, yeah, you've got to, you know, go, you know, help someone move house when they've asked. Be a good friend. All of those things. Go visit that person in hospital because they're having treatment. And so there's all these external things that you feel a sense and feel obliged to kind of have to tick off or do, engage with, but that also is a drain on you. And so, you know, and that then affects all of those things. It affects the way that you think. It affects you, you know, physiologically, because you feel tired all the time, or you get headaches or migraines, yeah, or you don't watch what you're doing and you cut yourself. But is this making sense? Is this just happening to me, or is this happening to you too? Yeah. And in what way? In which category do you think is the most sneaky for you? That just creeps up for you? Because in a moment, I'll actually go into you know, maybe some of the suggestions or the, you know, resolution. What do we do when we find ourselves in that situation? What do we do when we find ourselves when, you know, we're having a spiritual crisis, but we don't actually know why we're in this? Like, why the heck am I doing this? It's so bloody hard. Like I said, wouldn't it just be easier to get a job instead of go and help people like I thought I was called to do? All right. And so when you're in that that place of crisis, or, you know, well, let's talk about the, you know, the spiritual sense of things. So maybe some of the signs that you might be able to notice when you are having that, you know, when it is sneaking up on you in that spiritual sense, is that you lack purpose. You lack, and I don't mean lack purpose in terms of you just, you know, walk around all day and you don't know what you're doing. I mean, you don't have a really clear aim in terms of why you're here and what are you doing, you know, apart from, hey, I want to get, you know, 10 clients, or I want to reach 6 figures, or whatever. That's not really an inspiring mission. It's not really an inspiring purpose. It's a you know, a quantitative figure that you want to reach. It's a milestone, but it's not really an overarching mission or value. And so when you are affected in that spiritual sense, you lack that purpose, that driven purpose to actually go and do something. And what you may find yourself doing is searching and being compelled to search, but not really know why you're searching. So maybe you're Googling things, maybe you're doing course after course and kind of abandoning and going, some really good ideas, but, and not really knowing what you're searching for. So have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced that, where you've been searching for something, but you don't really know what you're searching for, and you're hoping that next thing is it, but it's not. So you just keep searching and looking. And so maybe you think it's strategy that you need. So you Google, you know, how to do Facebook Lives, how to do Google Ads, how to build a funnel, how to do all that. And don't get me wrong, those things are important. But when you invest so much of your energy in thinking that thing is the thing for you, that thing is going to solve like all your problems, then that indicates that there is a spiritual crisis. That there is something that there's something missing. That element has snuck up on you. And so in all of these areas, in the psychological, in the physical, the environmental, and the spiritual, they can all sneak up on us and we can be unaware of them. We can see ourselves doing things, but not knowing that it's not kind of working for us. Or we can just get frustrated that it's not working. Like we're pursuing this avenue, and like we're doing it with grit, and we're doing it with energy and a lot of effort, and it just doesn't feel natural. Doesn't feel I'm not going to say good, just feels like it's too much work. And don't get me wrong, having a business is work. It's absolutely work. But when you have an inspiring purpose, when you feel called to do something, when you have that big mission, then you're willing to do all the hard work. Yeah? You're willing to put in the hours. You're willing to work 12-hour days. Don't recommend that. But you're willing to do that to see that big vision of yours birthed. And so when you don't have that really big vision and the mechanism of how to actually get there, then you can be trying to fill the hole, that purpose hole, that spiritual hole, with all of these distractions, whether it be online, whether it be courses, whether it be, I'm going to go do this retreat, I'm going to do whatever to hope to fill that spiritual hole. And so in terms of solutions and what I've found there, because I've been affected by that too. For me, it's having those people in my life that have been able to provide spiritual counsel, whether it be a coach, whether that be friends, whether that be someone from my faith, or a mentor, or some sort of figure that can provide some explanation or some language around it has been helpful. So if we think about what we've got access to now, who could that actually be for you? Who's actually in your space right now? Have you got a supervisor? That provides that clinical supervision for you, that creates that space for you to talk just about you, not about your clients, not about what am I going to do next with them, but just about you. Have you got that? Have you got a mentor or a coach that you're working with? And again, not every, totally personal, but have you got someone there that's not just about the strategy and this is what you do next, but that actually checks in with you? Hey, how are you going? How are you doing? Let's look at that big vision of yours and let's see how we can make it happen. What are those roadblocks that you've been experiencing that's been preventing you from getting there? What are the behaviours that you're currently doing that has been, prohibiting you from getting there or for being on the path? Have you got business owner friends who are also in business, who understand, what it's like and the struggle, and the things that you have to do in order to bring clients in, to educate yourself, to balance the books and do all of that stuff? Have you got friends that you can share your experiences with, that you can offload to, that you can kind of bounce ideas off and, get inspired again with their vision as well? For me personally, that's been invaluable. Having surrounded with and connected to those friends who are also in business, or who have done the same course as me, or who are connected me, maybe through networking or some other way, where we've been able to have those conversations about, hey, how are things actually going? Have you got someone like that? Because that's so important. Many a times I've had a friend call and go, hey, what's up with you? You seem off. You don't seem the same, or you've been quiet. What's this going on? And they've been able to identify before I have been able to identify, or maybe even ready to acknowledge that things aren't really 100%. So do you have people like that in your circle? Or can you get access to them? Really love to hear. So if you've got someone like that, please type in yes. If you don't, type in no. And so the question becomes, out of those 4 elements, are you adequately supported in all of those areas? And this is where support becomes super, super essential because, as Einstein said, the level of thinking that created the problem isn't that same level that's going to get you out of the problem. You need a higher level of thinking. And this is where when you have people around you giving you feedback or, sharing with you what they see, giving some, not necessarily even advice, but just kind of picking up that you're not on the ball, like something's a bit off with you. This is where that support comes in really, really handy, because when you're in the pit, and this is my metaphor for, that I use with my clients, that I use with my mentees, and everyone, is like when you're in the pit, when you experience a problem, you're in the pit and it's dark, right? It's dark, it's moist, it's cold, it's really uncomfortable, and it's so dark that you don't know how to get out. You can see the light, but you're like, someone throw me a rope or a ladder or whatever. And you need someone that's not in the pit to actually be able to shine a flashlight, on you down there and go, hey, there's actually a ladder right beside you. Just pick it up. You've already got everything that you need around you, but it does take someone else to actually highlight that for you, to pick up on that, to show some care and some nurturing towards you when you actually really need it the most. So that's definitely one. That's definitely one, is having those support people around you who can actually pick up on you, pick up on those behaviours, maybe on some of the things that you're saying, that can help you kind of just trigger you to reflect on, hey, is everything okay with me? Do I need to do something? So that's definitely one. The other thing is that if you're having a physical problem, to deal with it in a physical way too. So, like I said, over the past few years, I've been experiencing extreme migraines, experienced like cluster headaches, and it had actually gone into my jaw and down my neck as well, to the point where I had restricted movement. So I saw a chiro, who was able to release all of that tension for me. And now I see a chiro on a regular basis, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. And that's more of a maintenance. It's a maintenance thing, so that I don't get all of that, that neck and jaw pain and everything like that. I still get, those headaches and migraines and eye pain from time to time, but it's nothing like it was. So are you being physically supported? So for you, it could be that, that physical support may be that you're part of a gym, or you're part of a team that, that does that physical exercise, or you've got a subscription to maybe an organic box that comes to your home or something like that. In what way are you taking care of yourself physically on an ongoing basis, so that you can have the energy, that you can have the clarity, and you can be pain-free to be able to, do your job, do your work, enjoy life. So has anyone else got something like that? What do you do on a regular basis? Do you see a chiro? Do you get a massage? Maybe you go and get your cards or something read. Maybe that has meaning for you, where that kind of gives you some solace or some inspiration, or maybe feedback. What is it that you get? So in terms of the environmental, in terms of the environmental aspect, where it may be your role, like me, mum, right? You've got to take your kids to school. You've got to, make sure they've got, their homework done and lunch packed, and constantly buying clothes for them because they grow really, really fast. but maybe it's all of those elements that are put together, and you've got to go cook dinner, and then you've got to go visit this person because they're sick, and, you know, help out XYZ. You know, what are those things in your environment that you can navigate in a way that's more conducive to your health and well-being? Is it that you reduce, you know, the trips out that you're taking, you know, the number of phone calls that you make? I don't know. But, you know, but you do. What is it that you can do right now to reduce that load and do just what you need to? Particularly if you are incapacitated in some way. You know, are you running around for everybody else? Yeah. And then at the end of the day, you've only got like an hour or two to work on your business or to see clients. And then left wondering, like, why isn't this working? Or you don't have the energy, you know, you don't, like, because, you know, when you talk to clients and things like that, and when you're talking to new potential clients too, you need to have the energy too to be able to do that. It is taxing energy-wise, and you need to be like sharp as well, yeah. So that, you know, when they ask a question, so what results can I get? And we go, yeah, well, you can actually get this, and this result, and that's just from the first session, yeah. So that you're on the ball. But if you're distracted because you've got so many things going on in your environment and so many people pulling your time away from you, then that's going to leave signs, that's going to leave clues. That's another sneaky way things can sneak up on you. So, you know, what is it that you can delegate? What is it that you can outsource? Yeah? Is it that you start, you know, shopping and just getting your shopping delivered? Or do you get like a meal subscription where you can, like, that's one thing done, you don't have to deal with it? Do you get your, you know, your house cleaned? Or maybe laundry outsourced? What is it that's going to make it easier for you? Do you speak less to those people who are draining? You know? Physical, we've talked about, and psychological, you know, that stinking thinking, the overwhelm, the when you're not kind of, I'm not going to say we're not thinking straight, but maybe you're not thinking in the way that is conducive to the goals and the ideas and the vision that you have. And so who keeps you in line and who keeps you in check with that? Who pulls you up on it? Have you got someone there? And further to that, what do you actually put in your brain in terms of your time investment? So what do you listen to that keeps you on track to where you want to go? You know, are there inspirational podcasts that you can listen to? Things that have meaning to you, that cultivates that purpose and meaning and drive within you to keep going, to keep doing it, to keep striving, to keep reaching, but in a way that is conducive to your health and well-being. So I hope that this has been helpful to unpack these 4 elements, because these are definitely across the board, you know, not just for us, but also for our clients too, to unpack. And to see where are those blind spots? Yeah, where are those spots where things have kind of just crept up, you know, on you or on them, and that is causing dis-ease in some respect, or that is causing suffering in some sense. Like we all suffer, we all do. That's, you know, that's part of life. But there's, you know, but we can actually reduce it, and it doesn't have to be permanent. And so when we tap into these areas and we look at what can we actually do to maintain, to eliminate, to support, yeah, then we're kind of like, you know, unpeeling or taking off and removing all the bags that we're carrying, all the heavy weight, all the pressure. And it can be done. We can do it, but it's like this is that time where we actually need to look outside ourselves and seek to those people that support us to be able to give us that feedback, to notice that, hey, you know, you've been quiet, or you know, you haven't been present. We haven't been doing that thing that you usually do. Is there something, you know, is there something going on for you? And also just be there to listen, to offload. Yeah, therapists need therapists. So I hope that's been helpful to you. We've spoken about the psychological, you know, the sneaky dimensions, the sneaky ways that a practitioner, you know, a coach, a therapist, you know, can be incapacitated, and that's through the in terms of their psychology, in terms of their thinking and processing. It can be through that physical sense where you feel stress, or even you know, weight gain and weight loss can be an indicator of, you know, your body giving you a sign. That, you know, sense of aging as well. You can see it you can see it in your face, and sense of tiredness. And then we looked at the environmental sense in terms of, you know, how, you know, things bit by bit can kind of overload our plate, where we're looking after kids, we're looking after our family, we're perhaps looking after extended family as well and having to care for them, where incidents occur and illness and sickness, where our attention is stretched, yeah, and our time and our resources are depleted. And then we looked at the spiritual sense, you know, the way that spiritually we can go off track, we can go off purpose, and one of the ways that we notice that is when we go searching for things and not really clear on why. We're searching for things that we're hoping this is going to be it for us. This is the thing that's going to help the most and it's going to solve all our problems. But really it is a spiritual problem. Whether it be that lack of connection with what you're doing, whether it be lack of connection with God or higher self, whether it be, you know, you just feel like you're off in some way and things just aren't working for you, and everything is grunt work, yeah. And so when you tap into those resources and those people, whether it be coach, mentors, friends, family, you know, business colleagues, yeah, they are your most valued resource in order to be able to, you know, your most valued resource to be able to pick up on when things aren't right with you, because sometimes they sneak up on us and we don't know where it's come from. But when we have that kind of impartial person, whether it be, you know, friends, family, maybe a supervisor, that can pick up on those things, then we're in a better position to resolve that. We're in a better position to be the best practitioner that we can be. We're in that position where we can give our clients, you know, an amazing experience and transformation. So thank you so much for listening, for watching. And if you have any questions about what I've spoken about today, please, you know, comment or message me. Feel free to message me, and let me know. You know, do you feel like you're adequately supported? Do you have the business friends, yeah, the family, the supervisor, the coach or mentor that picks up on these things in you? So that's all from me today. Take care and bye for now.